In this video, we'll talk about how to use your calculator to figure out trig functions or evaluate trig functions. And so the idea is that if you've noticed, your calculator may look like any of these three pictures. And so the first one is a random calculator that I found on the internet, and its keys go sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay? The one in the middle is from a TI-84 calculator, which is sine, cosine, and tangent. And the one on the right side is the Casio FX115, and the keys that we're focused on are in the order sine, cosine, and tangent. So most of the calculators that you will find only have sine, cosine, and tangent. What about cosecant, secant, and cotangent, right? We always talk about figuring out the 6 values of the trig functions. Well, most calculators don't have those functions programmed in. So what we're going to do is use the reciprocal identities that we talked about in lecture, or that you learn by watching a lecture. And cosecant, since hopefully we remember, it's defined as 1 over sine. Secant is defined as 1 over cosine. Cotangent is defined as 1 over tangent. So theoretically that's their definition, but how do we do it in the calculator? So here in the calculator, if we are looking for cosecant of the value x, well, all I have to do is divide 1 by sine of the x value. If I'm looking for secant, I need to do 1 divided by cosine of x. And if I'm looking for cotangent, I need to do 1 divided by tangent of x. And keep in mind that this x value is symbolic. You need to actually put a number there so that you compute cotangent at that value. Okay? So that's how you do cosecant, secant, and cotangent in any calculator, really. These three pictures are in the Casio, but it'll work in any calculator. Let's talk about the different types of inputs that you could have in your calculator. So notice in the Casio, there's a little symbol here, and it's a D. And so that tells me that the calculator is expecting the input to be in degrees, right? The input here, x, is expected to be in degrees. But what if you don't know the difference and you think that you're inputting it in a different form, like radians? So your output is still going to go through, but the answer is going to be different from the correct answer. My example here says sine of 30 is equals to 1/2. That's true if the input is in degrees, because if it was sine of 30 radians, it's not going to be the same as sine of 30 degrees. Okay? So it's important to understand that trig functions take in as an argument an angle. Okay? So you're inputting an angle into the function sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, whatever. And the output that you're getting is a ratio of the sides of the triangle, right? That's what you get back. It's some kind of length, some kind of ratio of lengths. That's the output. Okay? Then you may wonder, well, how do I change the modes if it's so important? So in your Casio FX, what you want to do is hit Shift, then Setup, and you're going to get options. So here's the Shift key. You're going to click that first and then move to Mode or Setup, and you're going to get this screen right here. And depending on what you want to input into your calculator, you're going to select degrees or radians, right? Whatever problem you're working on is going to determine whether you need degrees or radians as a mode. If you have a different calculator, for example this TI-84, then you're going to hit mode, scroll down and change to degree or radian. Here's the mode key, and the scroll down is done by the keys, and here's radian and degree. So again, you're going to select what mode you need to be in depending on the problem you're working on.